Thank you. Thank you very much for being here today. This is truly a remarkable audience. I have been with the museum now for 13 years, and I can't think of another event, another program where we've had an audience quite like this. There are far too many people who require recognition for me to catch everyone's name, so please forgive me if I don't acknowledge you. But I do want to point out some of our special guests today. Jim Lavelle, the retired police detective who was handcuffed to Lee Harvey Oswald at the time he was shot, is here. You might want to save your applause because I got a lot to go through here, so hang on. And seated very close to Jim is Eugene Boone, the Dallas deputy sheriff who discovered the rifle on the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository that day. And also over in that area we have Phyllis Hall, I believe, a nurse from Parkland Hospital who was in trauma room number 1 when President Kennedy died. And also over there is Rose Blatch, who worked for the Time Life Bureau in Houston at the time of the assassination. And over behind Rose, we have the wonderful Julian Reed, who was press aide to Governor John Connally at the time of the assassination. And on Julian's row is Pierce Allman, one of the first reporters inside this building after the assassination. Pierce was later our tour narrator for the audio tour, which continues to guide guests through the 6th floor exhibit today. I think I got that section over in here. I do want to go through this very quickly. We do have some eyewitnesses to the assassination here. We have Tina Towner Pender, who's here, who was our youngest photographer in Dealey Plaza at the time of the assassination. Seated behind Tina are Bill and Gail Newman, the closest civilian eyewitnesses to President Kennedy at the time of his shooting. Is James Tague here today? He was supposed to be here. I'm not sure if he is or not, but that's okay. We hope all is well with Jim. Let's see, we have some other folks here. Wayman Rose, who was the 10th juror selected for the Jack Ruby trial, is here today. Let's see, is Dr. Phil Williams here? All right, all right. Well, I know we have others, and we have a number of museum founders as well as people involved in the story of the assassination. Here on the front row, Alan and Cynthia Mondell are wonderful documentarians who created the films that you continue to see on the 6th floor to this day. Where is Bob Staples and Barbara Charles?
Bob's here
wonderful.
And Barbara's over there.
Okay, here on either side of the room are wonderful exhibit designers who created such a wonderful display which continues to fascinate our visitors almost 25 years after the museum opened. Jackie McElhaney is here, who did research for the exhibit and also was involved in reconstructing the sniper's perch. A number of our board members, past and present, are here. Nancy Cheney, I see, John Crane, Jill Johnson, over here Victor Elmore, Ruben Esquivel is here somewhere. There he is, wonderful. We're so happy to have all of you here today. There's so many friends and family and professional colleagues. We are so honored to have all of you here, to be here to celebrate the museum's history and to look back on how this museum became a reality. I've written a book about the history of this museum, and as an introduction today, before I introduce these two ladies, I want to go back in time a little bit and provide a little context so we understand what happened here to this site between November 22nd, 1963, and when these fine ladies became involved in this project in the 1970s. And we have to start, of course, with the day of the assassination. Here are these two women here. We wouldn't be here today. We would not be able to speak in this historic space without these two women. And we and history owe them a great debt of thanks. And so we're honored to have them here with us today. I want to begin with the assassination of President Kennedy, which had a profound impact on people around the world. But here in Dallas, this was a devastating tragedy that left indelible wounds that were not easily healed. Virtually overnight, Dealey Plaza became the city's most visited site. Mourners and curiosity seekers transformed the plaza into a shrine with flowers and note cards. And at the center of this experience was the Texas School Book Depository building. When the textbook distribution company vacated this warehouse in 1970, there was an immediate public outcry to tear down the structure. Many in the local community viewed this structure as an eyesore and a painful reminder of the assassination. The anger directed locally at this building stemmed from the international criticism that Dallas endured after the assassination. In the months and years leading up to President Kennedy's visit, a vocal minority of extremists had dominated the political image of the city. And in the aftermath of the president's death, Dallas bore a stigma as a city of hate that took years to shed. Ashamed and angry, Dallasites naturally sought to distance themselves from the darkest moment in the city's modern history. Though eager to put the assassination behind them, local residents did not forget to honor the memory of President Kennedy. A bronze marker was unveiled in Dealey Plaza in 1966, while Philip Johnson's cenotaph, the John F. Kennedy Memorial, was dedicated nearby in 1970. But it was here, in this building, that visitors from around the world, estimated at over 1 million annually, gathered in Dealey Plaza to discuss the assassination, remember President Kennedy, and experience history through their own eyes. There was initially an effort by State Senator Mike McCool for the state of Texas to purchase the building, but he found no support in the Senate. And in 1970, a Nashville music promoter purchased the building at public auction, hoping to open a museum and research center. But unable to secure financial backing, Aubrey Mayhew lost the depository in 1972. At this point, a public outcry to demolish the building really gained momentum. Community leaders such as Tom Landry, Mary Kay Ash, and Ross Perot advocated tearing down the depository, and a group of business executives formed an organization called Dallas Onward and pledged over $100,000 to purchase the building and demolish it. Ultimately, after the Dallas City Council, led by Mayor Wes Wise, froze demolition permits on the building, Dallas County, led by Public Works Director Judson Shook, arranged to purchase the depository as part of a 1977 bond package. After several years of renovations, the building was renamed the Dallas County Administration Building, housing the Commissioner's Court, Public Works, and the Civil Division of the Dallas District Attorney's Office. Upon its reopening in 1981, it received a Texas historical marker, publicly acknowledging, for the first time, its place in history. The question remained, however, what do we do with the infamous 6th floor? And that's where our story begins today. Lindalyn, you were chair of the Dallas County Historical Commission when the county bought the building. Take us back to your first visit to that empty floor and your first reaction when you found out that there might be an exhibition on the 6th floor of this building.
Well, I'm going even farther back than that.
Okay,
because
it's your program.
I was appointed in 1975 to be the County Historical Commission chairman, and I thought, oh, that'll be kind of nice and fun. And so I was down here a lot, and I would not look at this building. I just, my eyes just wouldn't glance that way. In fact, I gave some bus tours for the doctor's wives. We did that when conventions were in town. And I remember going down Elm Street, and we were turning the corner on Houston, and I was pointing out John Neely Bryan's cabin and the old red courthouse where the bus listed to the right side, and they were all saying, is it, I said, and I was kind of offended that that's all they wanted to see in Dallas, because obviously I had put it out of my mind. But when I was appointed as chairman of the Historical Commission and being down here a great deal and seeing the visitation at the site, incredibly, all day, all night, all kinds of weather, there were visitors looking up at the window, walking around, and it became evident that something needed to be done. You're the hero of today, and we are so appreciative of the masterful job you did on this book. And it's recorded all of our ups and downs, and you did just such a wonderful job.
Well, thank you.
Now, my first hero was Judson Shook, who was the facilities director of Dallas County. And I would go to commissioner court meetings and meet the various, commissioners and hear Judson talk about the possibility of acquiring this building. So it was not news to me, but he handled that so beautifully. And there were two miracles that occurred, that through Judson's efforts, number one, the building was acquired and was safe. Number two, the Commissioner's Court decided to hire an architectural team, a group that had done the Sedco building. I don't know if any of you remember that wonderful restoration. It was kind of one of Dallas's first major historic preservation projects. And he